Hello to everyone and the internet. It is currently Thursday, January 17th. I am Nathan of Washington and you are watching Culture Shock, the only show on the internet that knows how to separate an issue of culture from an issue of politics. And this is the news. The only doctor I need. So federal government employees and contractors going without pay have turned to GoFundMe and turned to GoFundMe. I was bleeding into the other story for a second there, whoops. But yeah, they've turned to GoFundMe. See, this is an issue of culture from this angle, okay? And I'll explain that. This is going to talk about what kind of cultural institutions exist for those who are poor or underpaid, and for why we don't necessarily need social programs. Although I do have food stamps. Ugh. But and why we can in fact rely on the reality that some people are naturally altruistic and do take care of each other. I donate to charity all the time. In fact, a lot of the time, if I don't donate to charity, I kind of feel bad. Skipping out on charity, I kind of feel like I did something wrong, you know? I mean, that's how I am. I don't know about anybody else. But the GoFundMe pages have raised more than $400,000. That's $400,000 worth of charity to these federal workers who have otherwise nowhere else to go and have turned to using food banks. Well, maybe now these federal workers who get high-paying government wages finally realize what it's like to be poor. How do you like the rat race, fellas? I mean, it sucks that you're not getting paid, but at the same time, you got upper class folks got to understand. This is the rat race. This is how poor people live. Maybe now you'll finally earn some understanding. Excuse me. It won't be so ignorant of our problems, because now our problems are yours as well. And hell, if you want, hit me up. I'll teach you how to survive the rat race. I'll show you how to do it. Hell, I'll show you how to survive without even having a job or any kind of income beyond getting disability. It's actually quite sustainable if you know how to spend. Or rather, I should say, how not to spend, since a lot of the time that is the real secret. And just learning how to live with, less. Sure, I have the occasional luxury. I have a few luxuries. That was paid for and built up over time. Those often represent several years or several months in between purchases. But the real issue is not the federal employees. They're fine. They got GoFundMe money, and people are still donating. I might donate. I'd gladly. And they got the food banks. The people who are really desperate and in need of help are these private government contractors who are dependent on being paid to the government for various contracts on like building roads or doing other industry work. Because they have no guarantee of back pay, because they're not actually government employees. They work with the government in an industrial sense, but they have no guarantee of back pay after the shutdown. So the fucking Democrats are responsible here. Just give him his goddamn wall already. If you just give him his damn wall, it wouldn't be a problem. Then your federal employees would receive their pay. Your government contractors would get their paid contracts. And all would be well. Just give them the fucking wall. But you won't give them the wall. And I'll tell you why you won't give them the wall. Because migrants vote left. They vote Democrat. And that's what they want. They want that. Of course, if we get the wall, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that Democrats turn to their other favorite tactic, which is adding names to ballots of dead people. Yeah, they dip into like obituaries and find dead people in the obituaries. Nobody famous, no one who would know what it was other than their friends and family would know who they were, and then put that name into the voting system and get a few extra votes. Yeah, the Democrats are well known for that. They did it first. The Republicans did it too, but they did it first and in larger numbers. Yeah, that's why they won't give them the wall. It'll challenge their power base too much. It'll also hurt the establishment as well. Well, fucking good. The establishment is stupid. It's fucking criminal as all hell. And the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, is warning that the partial government shutdown could cause U.S. financial growth to hit absolute zero if it continues into the first quarter of 2019. Now, I don't know necessarily much about financial things, at least not from a business world type perspective. I understand spending and not spending. I actually, I'm very skilled at thrift. I'm a very thrifty shopper. So I know how to manage my own personal funds, but in terms of like GDP or stock, I'm afraid that's not something I really fully understand. So mostly I'll just default to what experts will say. And Jamie Dimon, I mean, he's a CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase. This guy knows his shit. Because he's made comments like this before, and most of the time he's been right, like 5 times out of 10. 5, 6, 7 times out of 10. I mean, no one's perfect. But I believe it is absolutely plausible that could happen, because the cost of the government shutdown, it's costing us financial growth, it's costing us money, arguably more than the wall already. Just build the fucking thing already and he'll turn the government back on. What the hell? They're being unreasonable. The Democrats are being completely unreasonable, and their unwillingness to capitulate will hurt us all in the long run. And as if I didn't hate the Democrats and voted away from them enough. I mean, fuck, I'm not even going to vote for another Democrat for the rest of my life after everything that's been going on lately. For the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. I'm never going to vote for another Democrat for the rest of my life. Nothing could convince me to do it. They could put up Mahatma Gandhi himself, and I wouldn't vote for him just because he was a Democrat. I've had enough of their bullshit. As far as I'm concerned, this is Pelosi and Schumer's shutdown, not Trump's. It's their problem. It's their fault. Just give them the fucking wall. And then we can start paying government employees again, and we can start, them not having to turn to fucking food banks. Just give them the fucking wall already. Enough of your techno wall garbage either. I'm talking about the real ass wall. And moving on, a hacker and or hackers have released, and this is a scary one, folks. They've released publicly 773 million emails and 21 million unique passwords. Yeah, thinking about this, when I originally dug up this story, just reading of it, it just like sent chills down my spine. Like, God fucking damn it. Yeah, I'm swearing a lot today. I'm in a rare mood. I'm a little upset just because I've just had it up to here with the Democrats. I've had it up to here. I am literally 158% done. But you can go to this website owned by a guy named Troy Hunt. This website is called Have I Been Pwned? That's pwned, P-W-N-E-D. This website has information on leaked emails and passwords to see if you're on the list of the victims and what they can do to help you. So that would be Have I Been Pwned, PWNED.com. This is one of, if not the biggest email leaks I have ever heard of, and I've heard of a few. Because I'm not really I wouldn't say I'm a coder. I'm not a big techie, but I'm very competent in a lot of areas, and I know some folks. Shout out to Zonia Harris, who are into the coding world, and occasionally through news stories and other outlets I hear stuff about this kind of thing. But this is honestly the biggest email leak I have ever been privy to. This is like on a scale with likes of which I have never seen. And I don't think I even have to mention the very real possibility of some major identity theft. As many an email account will have links to and contain messages related to some very sensitive stuff. Financial, personal. It could be a threat to identity theft, even a threat to a person's safety. Like, what if they use your email address to find out your actual physical location and come to, like, stalk you or kill you or something? This is sensitive information that could end up meaning people's lives or even their livelihoods. Bottom line is the person or people responsible should not be left off easy for this one. Demand justice if you're a victim, or even if you're not. It's like at some point I'm going to visit Have I Been Pwned to see if one of my email accounts, which I have several, I have my backup emails, see if any of those have been compromised. I could be among those 773 million and 21 million passwords. I very easily could, so I'm reasonably worried. I think anyone who wasn't worried about this would be crazy. Or some kind of nihilist who just doesn't fucking care. But Troy Hunt's website and services, that is Have I Been Pwned, have links to 2,000 databases and know when they have been cracked, including passwords. The leaked info measured up to 12,000 separate folders and about 87 gigabytes. Found on a cloud storage site called Mega, because that's where it ended up being put. Someone stole the data up to 87 gigabytes and then stored it on a fucking cloud. Good lord. Now see, I am actually a web pirate. I regularly torrent and download stuff. I've done more than 87 gigabytes of data, but while I might steal the occasional TV show or movie, I would never in my life ever consider stealing private personal information that could literally mean life or death. It is absolutely unconscionable. I mean, downloading a movie or two, that's just stuff. No one's life hinges on stuff. But this is more than just stuff. Now, stealing items, that's one thing. Stealing a person's identity or ruining their life or even killing them, the possibility of like emails and shit, that's way too far. These people should not be let off easy. I imagine some people probably want to see him hung. Probably see the body swing a little. They probably want to see my body swing. But hey, I'm not hurting anybody with what I do. I'm nothing compared to these folks. Hell, I admitted my activities on a news show. What do you think they're going to be able to do about it? Probably nothing. Prince Philip got hit pulling out of a driveway. So he was pulling out of the driveway, and apparently someone was driving by at the time. This happens on occasion. Cars are basically death machines, honestly. When you really get into it, they're really kind of dangerous. Excuse me. But he's pulling out, and then someone comes by and clips him. Now, for those of you who are English, fear not, for Prince Philip has not been injured. And his protective officer that keeps an eye on him was safe. The royal car was hit, and everyone was fine. But it could have been a lot worse. He even went to a doctor just to be safe, And it turns out he was, in fact, unharmed. But in the end, it could have been a great deal worse. So, I mean, if you ever think about a close call, well, that's about as close as you can get, brother. Kurt Angle's niece, that is the WWE wrestler and former 1996 Olympic gold medalist, had a niece, Mariani Aquil, and one other girl. She was about 16, and she had a boyfriend who was about 19. Ex-boyfriend, now they broke up because apparently he was kind of a dirty dude. And not because he sleeps around, but because he's literally involved in like some serious criminal shit. His name is Jermaine Rogers, and apparently he kidnapped her and one other girl. And then they were hiding out somewhere, and then they were later got found by the police. After 3 months worth of searching. Or something like that. Now, I don't have much issue with a 16-year-old dating a 19-year-old. 16 years old is close enough to adulthood that I'm like, yeah, as long as you're not dating too far outside of your age range, go for it. And mind the law, of course. Mind the law. But it's not so much that he was 19, so much that he was a dirty-ass motherfucker. He like kidnapped people and, you know, abused them in other ways. I mean, how do you get involved as a girl? How did you get involved with a guy like that in the first place? It was shady AF. It's like, at least, I think so, with someone like that, at least just one conversation would be enough to be like, red flag, red flag. Yikes. Still, she's found, she's safe, and Jermaine Rogers is apparently going to be going away and doing some time. Woo-hoo! Justice! And for our final story today, so this guy assaults an 11-year-old girl, and his lawyer claimed self-defense. Now, at first, that might sound crazy, but hear this out. The lawyer claimed that this 11-year-old girl belonged to a gang of preteens that were harassing this woman. And the guy decided to escort her out of the mall to safety, and then the kids started harassing him instead. Of course, we don't really know that's what actually happened. The details in this case are actually far from clear. The guy had a number of physical ailments. He was about 6'5", 250 pounds, and he had to defend himself against an 11-year-old girl. Yeah, that sounds crazy to me. That sounds completely crazy to me. But again, the guy had PTSD. And the funny thing with PTSD is sometimes you can have delusions, or even full-on hallucinations. So, I mean, his ability to perceive reality could have been compromised. Even if it was all true, his judgment also could have been compromised. And you know how lawyers like to reframe things to make their the defendant seem guilty or innocent, depending on what side they're on. Because a lot of these lawyers, man, like, all they care about is winning the trial. They don't care how it's done. Right? They're dirty as hell. Corrupt ass lawyers. It's come to the point now where it's almost like a cliche. The defendant in this case is named David Stephen Bell. Yeah, he's a 6'5", 250 pounds. Suffers from various medical conditions. Like I said, PTSD was one of his actions. Yeah, he was threatened by a large pack of youths who had trapped and surrounded him. Now, sometimes this kind of behavior does happen, but it's not very common. I mean, shit. What is with young people today? Gangs of youth surrounding and harassing people, 19-year-olds kidnapping 16-year-olds and other people. When I was 19 years old, I was doing a post-high school graduate program because I failed high school and I was trying to get my diploma after high school. So I was doing that, adult basic ed, to round out my education out at my local college, and just in my downtime watching TV or playing video games or hanging out with friends. That's what I was doing. What the shit was this guy doing? Or when I was 11 years old, I was just doing more of the same what I said before, just playing games, hanging out with friends, watching TV. I mean, man, kids today. Kids today, I sound old. I'm only 28. Bottom line is, I just don't understand. Like, in many ways, Gen Z is turning out to be one of the most conservative generations of all time. So in many ways, they make me very happy. In other ways, not so much. I mean, you all remember the Tide Pod Challenge? And all the other stupid bullshit? Well, I'm sure some of our own generation probably did bullshit of our own, but nothing on that level, I don't think. Nothing more dangerous than, say, rollerblades or skateboards, which are virtual suicide in many cases. Bottom line is, until we know all the details, like we can interview the kids, find out what really happened, or maybe that woman he escorted out of the mall, like really ask all of the witnesses to really get all the details, and then maybe we'll figure this bullshit out. Anyway, that's it for Culture Shock today, folks. I'm out.